if he manages to make his way, it will still be the animal farm, because you've got a number of politicians who want to go to Kamukunji, but they'll not make their way. But again, if he manages to make his way, obviously, he'll be keeping the company of ODM top officials.
Right.
So it means that Mr. Raila Odinga and his kitchen cabinet and his supporters and sycophants, all of them would be given the green light, and somebody's going to roll out a red carpet for them. So in my view, if the law enforcement officers have taken a decision that there are no gatherings, no meetings in Nairobi, it should cut across. If they decide to give him a red carpet, then Kenyans have got a very strong reason to smell a big fat rat.
My assumption would be that he has communicated this prior, and as is, the law enforcers are supposed to guarantee him security and a peaceful activity. In his address, as he confirms the possibility of him getting to Kamukunji, he argues that Kenyans have lost out on understanding the essence and the significance of the Saba Saba celebrations. Would you agree with his statement? And perhaps he would be allowed to go there so that he can remind us as a people that you have missed out on this, and perhaps this is how we should handle things. This is what Saba Saba is all about.
If indeed he's going to coordinate with the law enforcement officers for him to make his way to Kamukunji, then that is a facility which should have been made available to every politician in Kenya, every protester in Kenya. That if you want to go outside, maybe if you want to go to outside Uhuru Park, wherever you want to do, there's a number you call, and then there's a special team will be assigned to you to do any coordination. There is no logic anywhere in the world that would support Mr. Raila Odinga going to Kamukunji and not others. People may try to spin it in several ways that is going to give Kenyans a lesson. A lesson on what? I mean, if we want to understand what Saba Saba is all about,
you don't need someone
it's available in these few books.
Okay.
It's just it's a Google search. And when you're talking about Saba Saba, really, it means many things to different people. Let's start from...
You see, also before you even proceed to tell us that, you might need to be reminded that we still are suffering with the trouble or the concern of people saying that kama Raila amesoma katiba, then we literally then are okay with that. So pretty much to say that most of the Kenyans do not get to the books to read. Most of the Kenyans do not take time to ask those ones that were there back then what the significance of Saba Saba is all about. And you will agree with me that perhaps many have hit the streets today without clear understanding of that.
Well, I've seen a number of people actually being interviewed, and it appears that a good number don't understand what Saba Saba is all about. Because in the morning I saw people being interviewed, and they said, asi tukapa kwa streets, tumekuja kufanya demonstration, Ruto one term. So they say, so what is Saba Saba all about? And I saw the fellow started sweating and scratching his head. So majority of people do not know. One can actually benefit from Mr. Raila Odinga, because for those who have interacted with him, Mr. Raila Odinga, in fact, is an encyclopedia. His knowledge about the Kenyan political space, the African political space, the world space, probably one can easily say that he has no peers. He understands this subject into detail. But why does he want to give a class today on Saba Saba Day? Shouldn't he do it maybe this evening? Maybe he should have done it yesterday. Shouldn't he call for a news conference at his residence and tell people that ask media houses to dedicate 2 hours? I want to give you a quick class on Saba Saba. Well, on this particular day, where it's going to be treated in an extra different manner compared to now what you may refer to as other mere mortals in Kenya. Yeah, so for me, I think if it's black, it must be black. If it's white, it must be white. Nobody should be given grey. But again, I'm not suggesting that we are degrading what Mr. Raila Odinga has done. Mr. Raila Odinga has done amazing stuff, and majority of what we enjoy today, including inter alia capacity to demonstrate today, can be attributed to Mr. Raila Odinga. So he's done very well, but that does not mean that is treated in a manner different from the rest of the citizens, unless then we accept that we're in an animal farm where we have super politicians, and then we have the rest of the politicians.
And I know we're not here to discuss the persona of Raila Odinga, but even if he does not make it to Kamukunji, that declaration in itself that, yes, I am also going to join Kenyans in Kamukunji as we commemorate Saba Saba Day, don't you think it comes as a dent? Or what do you make of it, especially when you think about his now dalliance with the current government or the government of the day and the formation of the broad-based government?
Well, in the past, there were very few politicians who had capacity to call for Mandamano in Kenya. And one of them was Mr. Raila Odinga. At the flick of his finger, he would declare public holiday in Kenya by calling for Mandamano. Yeah. And people would turn out in numbers. But with the demonstrations last year, it opened a new chapter in Kenya. And then people realized that it's actually possible to have Mandamanos without Mr. Raila Odinga being the person calling for the Mandamano. So in my understanding from a political perspective, that he wants to go to Kamukunji today is that he does not want to lose that capacity, the reputation or power, that I'm the only one who can call Mandamano. Because he has discovered Mandamanos in Kenya now can take place with or without. And there's a saying that if you can't beat them, join them. So I think he just wants to be part of these Mandamano. And one can easily bet that whatever it happens, even if he's just going to Kamukunji for a second, he has to make it. Because in the event, again, he doesn't make it to Kamukunji, people will now start saying that he's become a coward. He could even be branded as a melon. Yeah, because he said, you made a declaration at around 15 hours local time, you're going to be at Kamukunji. What happened? Are you a coward? You didn't have capacity to come out of your house. So either way, I think he's going to maneuver and probably engage in a bit of drama. Because again, he needs to score some brownie points. He needs some points. I'm hesitating to use this mobile telephone here.
Yes, but the points that we know. We all know of them.
Yeah, but he needs to get some points.
Yeah.
And of course, Mr. Raila is an enigma. But again, because of his very strong influence in the Kenyan political space, whether or not he makes it to Kamukunji, his followers would still create excuses for them. They'll say, wait a minute, do you really want an old man to make his way to Kamukunji late in the evening? Or maybe, did he not tell you to go to Kamukunji? Did he say that he was coming to address you in person? You can even do a virtual. You can even do Zoom. You can even address people via mobile phone. So whatever Mr. Raila Odinga is right, even if he's wrong.
Okay. And you say public holiday. Reminds me that the government declared that today is not a public holiday. But the irony of it all is that we see all this barricading. The irony of it all is that we see people not allowed to even access their business premises. The Boda riders this morning saying that, you said that you're a government of Watu-Wadogo. Why is it that now you do not allow us to, do the usual businesses that we do today? What changed? That perhaps there was a declaration by different entities that they're going to close shop. And the government said, you need not to do that. We are here to protect you. The same government does not allow them to go to these specific places of business. Do you suppose that the government has fallen into the protesters' script by literally barricading the city? And now, well, the protesters actually want Saba Saba to proceed and extend. Some of them are saying, paka hata kesho, na kesho kutu baka hata nyinyi mchoke.
Mandamano's a valid expectation, or rather valid expression of people's protest.
Yeah.
And one would even venture and say that Mandamano is actually a form of public participation as captured in the Constitution. But unfortunately, in Kenya, Mandamanos that are supposed to be peaceful, that people are supposed to be unarmed. And the last couple of days, people used to come out with a bottle of water, with a mobile phone, and a flag. And in a very good part, especially the Gen Z and the youth Mandamanos have been very peaceful. But as some say, you are told that they've been infiltrated by criminal elements or goons. Now, if you're a reasonable human being, and you know that these Mandamanos, at the end of the day, they may cause death and destruction of property, then you need to be very brave to say that you are actually going to open your businesses, given the experience you've had in the past. And we keep on giving an example that if you're running maybe a restaurant somewhere in the middle of town, and you've bought heavy stocks for